The Celestial Spirit, a research vessel bearing the distinctive crystalline architecture of the Centauri civilization, descended through Earth's atmosphere with the grace of a falling leaf. Its transparent hull reflected the morning sunlight, casting prismatic patterns across the dense canopy of the Amazon rainforest below. Senior researcher Chlor pressed their iridescent appendages against the observation dome, their sensory glands tingling with anticipation. The ship's primary scanner hummed softly, displaying streams of data about the lush environment below. The readings seemed almost too perfect. Oxygen levels ideal for most carbon-based life forms, water purity exceeding their highest classification standards, and biodiversity metrics that challenged their most optimistic predictions. Secondary analysis confirms, lead researcher, the ship's environmental officer, Tyranny, reported while adjusting their atmospheric filters. The river system contains approximately 12,000 distinct organic signatures, with 98% showing peaceful coexistence patterns. Their voice carried the musical lilt characteristic of their species, a subtle harmonic that reflected their growing excitement. Chlor's chromatophores shifted to a deep shade of azure, indicating deep satisfaction. After visiting 17 potential garden worlds across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy, they had finally found what appeared to be genuine paradise. The preliminary scans showed no signs of large predators, no evidence of territorial conflicts, and water so pure it would be considered sacred on their homeworld. The research vessel settled into a holding pattern 500 meters above a particularly wide section of the river. Below, the water sparkled like liquid crystal, its surface occasionally broken by gentle ripples from what their scans identified as small, silver-scaled aquatic life forms. The surrounding rainforest stretched endlessly in every direction, a testament to the planet's remarkable ecological stability. Begin atmospheric compatibility analysis. Chlor instructed, their outer membrane rippling with scholarly excitement. The ship's external sensors extended, sampling the humid air. Within moments, the results appeared on the curved display panels. Earth's atmosphere was not only safe for their species, but potentially beneficial, rich in trace elements their bodies craved. As the ship's eye processed landing site calculations, Tyranny made an interesting observation. Lead researcher, I'm detecting sophisticated observation equipment approximately 2 kilometers from our chosen landing zone. The technology suggests an intelligent species with advanced scientific capabilities. Chlor absorbed this information with measured enthusiasm. Their species had encountered intelligent life before, but never in a setting so pristine. Are they aware of our presence? Affirmative, Tyranny confirmed. Their instruments are tracking us, but I detect no defensive systems or hostile intent. Their vital signs suggest curiosity rather than fear. The decision to proceed with landing operations came easily. The Centauri had long ago learned that peaceful species tended to evolve in peaceful environments. Any intelligence that developed in such an obvious paradise would surely share their dedication to harmony and scientific pursuit. As the Celestial Spirit initiated its landing sequence, the external cameras captured magnificent images of the surrounding ecosystem. Gentle herbivores grazed near the water's edge, their movements unhurried and calm. Small, silver fish swam in perfect formation through the crystal-clear water, their scales reflecting the tropical sunlight. Even the local atmospheric disturbances seemed mild compared to other worlds they had studied. The ship touched down on a natural clearing near the riverbank, its landing struts adjusting to the soft soil with precision. Chlor assembled their initial survey team, carefully selecting equipment for their first surface excursion. Their protective suits, standard protocol for first planetary contact, seemed almost unnecessary given the perfect environmental readings. Final safety protocols complete, Tyranny announced as the ship's main airlock cycled. Surface temperature 28 degrees Celsius, humidity 82%, no detected pathogens or harmful particles. Chlor led their team down the ship's extended ramp, their sensory organs drinking in the unfiltered magnificence of Earth's ecosystem. The air carried the rich scent of organic life, The sound of flowing water created a soothing backdrop, and the visual diversity exceeded their most optimistic expectations. As they established their initial monitoring equipment along the riverbank, none of the Centauri researchers noticed the slight disturbance in the water nearby. The small silver fish, which their scanners had classified as simple herbivores, briefly paused their synchronized swimming, their sensitive lateral lines detecting the vibrations of the aliens' movement along the shore. In the warm waters of the Amazon, the Piranhas continued their patrol, waiting for the right moment to demonstrate why paradise often came with sharp teeth. The morning sun cast long shadows through the transparent dome of the Centauri research station, creating shimmering patterns across their sophisticated monitoring equipment. Chlor meticulously adjusted the sensitivity of their aquatic life scanners, their outer membrane shifting to a contemplative shade of green as they processed the overwhelming amount of data streaming in from the river. Hidden within the dense foliage 200 meters away, Dr. Sarah Chen peered through her high-powered binoculars, documenting every movement of their extraterrestrial visitors. Her research team had been studying the Amazon's complex ecosystem for 3 years, but nothing in their previous work had prepared them for this moment. She carefully adjusted her position in the camouflaged blind, ensuring her movements wouldn't disturb the natural sounds of the rainforest. "The aliens appear to be collecting water samples," she whispered into her recorder, watching as one of the crystalline beings extended a translucent appendage into the river. Their movements suggest a scientific approach, methodical and careful. No signs of resource extraction equipment or military hardware. Below the research station's dome, Tilara excitedly processed their initial findings. "Lead researcher, these readings are unprecedented. The water contains a perfect balance of minerals and organic compounds. The microsystem interactions show remarkable efficiency." Chlor moved to examine the holographic display, their chromatophores pulsing with scientific enthusiasm. The three-dimensional projection showed schools of silver fish moving in synchronized patterns through the crystal-clear water. Their scans classified these creatures as simple filter feeders, their movements suggesting a peaceful existence within the complex river ecosystem. Dr. Chen's attention shifted to her tablet as data from their submerged sensors streamed in. The Piranhas were exhibiting their typical morning behavior patterns, moving between the shadows and sunlit patches of water. She found herself holding her breath as one school swam directly beneath the aliens' sampling equipment. Inside the dome, a junior researcher named Marin called out in excitement, "Lead researcher, I've detected a fascinating symbiotic relationship between the local flora and the small silver aquatic species. They appear to maintain perfect ecological balance through behavioral patterns we've never observed before." Chlor glided across the station's smooth floor to examine Marin's findings. Their species had visited countless worlds, but Earth's seemingly perfect harmony continued to challenge their understanding of natural systems. Every measurement, every observation reinforced their initial assessment of paradise. The research team deployed their newest innovation, microscopic observation drones designed to look like water droplets. These tiny machines dispersed throughout the river, transmitting detailed information about the local wildlife. The Centauri researchers watched in amazement as the data painted a picture of what they believed to be the most peaceful aquatic ecosystem they had ever encountered. Dr. Chen carefully documented the locations of each alien drone, noting how the Piranhas seemed to instinctively avoid them. "Remarkable adaptation," she murmured into her recorder. "The fish are treating the foreign objects as potential threats rather than prey." Classic predator behavior. As the morning progressed, the Centauri researchers expanded their observation zone, setting up additional monitoring stations along the riverbank. Their confidence grew with each successful deployment, their initial caution giving way to scientific enthusiasm. The river's residents seemed to pay them no attention, continuing their daily routines undisturbed. Tilara's sensors detected movement on the opposite bank, a group of capybaras approaching the water's edge. The giant rodents moved with casual confidence, some stepping into the shallows to drink. The aliens watched in fascination, their databanks recording every detail of this peaceful interaction. Another perfect example of harmonious coexistence, Chlor noted in their research log. The large herbivores share the water source with the aquatic species, showing no signs of competition or territorial behavior. From her hidden position, Dr. Chen noticed the subtle changes in the water's surface tension near the capybaras. Years of experience had taught her to recognize the signs. She glanced at her watch, noting the time. The morning feeding period was approaching. Inside the dome, the alien researchers continued their work, blissfully unaware that their definition of paradise was about to be dramatically challenged. Their sensors, calibrated to detect peaceful interactions, had failed to recognize the subtle indicators of impending predator behavior. The morning sun climbed higher, and beneath the river's tranquil surface, the true nature of Earth's ecosystem prepared to reveal itself. The midday sun cast brilliant reflections across the river's surface as Chlor meticulously documented the behavior of the capybara family. Their observation drones hovered silently above the water, recording every movement of what the Centauri researchers believed to be another perfect example of Earth's harmonious ecosystem. Remarkable social structures, Chlor noted in their research log, their chromatophores shifting to a pleased violet hue. The larger specimens protect the younger ones while maintaining complete awareness of their surroundings. Such organization without any signs of aggression or territorial display. Tulera monitored the environmental readings from their primary station, adding detail to their growing database of Earth's river life. The water temperature had risen slightly, and their sensors detected increased activity among the schools of silverfish. Lead researcher, the aquatic species are displaying new behavioral patterns. They appear to be gathering in greater numbers. From her concealed position, Dr. Chen watched the scene unfold with professional interest. Her fingers moved swiftly across her tablet, noting the changing water patterns and the subtle shift in the piranhas' swimming formation. The capybaras at the water's edge had grown still, their natural instincts sensing the change in the environment. Inside the transparent dome, Marin excitedly called out, "The silverfish are demonstrating remarkable synchronized movement. Their collective behavior suggests highly evolved social cooperation." The junior researchers' outer membrane rippled with enthusiasm as they adjusted their instruments to better capture the phenomenon. The water's surface remained calm, but beneath it, hundreds of piranhas moved into position. The largest capybara, nearly 2 meters in length, stepped deeper into the river. The water reached its chest as it lowered its head to drink, creating small ripples that spread outward across the surface. Chlor raised their sensory appendages in appreciation of what they assumed would be another peaceful interaction between species. Their recording devices captured every detail, their data banks preparing to catalog another example of perfect ecological harmony. The attack came with explosive force. The river's surface erupted as hundreds of piranhas launched their coordinated assault. The capybara barely had time to react before the water around it churned into a crimson foam. The sound of splashing water mixed with the sharp snaps of powerful jaws and the desperate cries of the prey. Inside the dome, the Centauri researchers recoiled in horror. Their sensory organs vibrated with shock as they witnessed nature's brutal efficiency. Chlor's chromatophores drained to a pale gray, their outer membrane trembling as they struggled to process the violence unfolding before them. Impossible. Tulera's voice carried notes of distress as their instruments suddenly registered the true nature of the silverfish. These creatures, their biological structure, they're not filter feeders at all. The feeding frenzy lasted less than 5 minutes. The water gradually settled, returning to its previous crystal clarity as if nothing had happened. The remaining capybaras had retreated to the safety of the dense forest, their social structure having served its purpose in allowing most of the group to escape. Chlor moved closer to the dome's wall, their scientific curiosity slowly overcoming their initial shock. The piranhas had resumed their peaceful-looking swimming patterns, once again appearing as innocent silver fish gliding through the clear water. "Our initial assessments," Chlor spoke slowly, their voice carrying the weight of revelation, "were fundamentally flawed. This world, this paradise, contains complexities we fail to comprehend. Dr. Chen watched as the alien researchers huddled around their instruments, their body colors shifting rapidly through various shades that she interpreted as signs of distress and confusion. She knew it was almost time to make contact, to help them understand that Earth's beauty lay not in an absence of violence, but in the perfect balance between creation and destruction. Narin, still trembling slightly, began recalibrating their scanners to detect the biological adaptations they had previously missed. The Piran has razor-sharp teeth, powerful jaws, and sophisticated sensory systems had been there all along, hidden beneath their silver scales and synchronized swimming patterns. As the afternoon sun continued its arc across the sky, the Centauri researchers realized their definition of paradise needed serious revision. The crystal-clear waters of the Amazon had shown them that true ecological perfection wasn't about peaceful coexistence alone. It was about survival, adaptation, and the endless dance between predator and prey. Dr. Chen emerged from the dense undergrowth with deliberate slowness, her hands raised in the universal gesture of peace. Behind her, two other researchers followed with equal caution, their movements calculated to appear non-threatening. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the clearing as they approached the alien research station. Inside the dome, Chlor observed the humans' approach with a mixture of scientific curiosity and newfound caution. Their recent experience with the Piranhas had shaken their preconceptions about Earth's ecosystem, and now they viewed everything through a more analytical lens. They appear to be carrying scientific equipment, Tilara noted, their chromatophores shifting to a cautious amber. The devices matched the technology signatures we detected earlier. The observation screens displayed detailed scans of the humans' research gear, showing familiar tools adapted to local conditions. Dr. Chen stopped at a respectful distance from the dome's entrance and activated a simple holographic projector. The device displayed basic mathematical sequences, universal constants that any spacefaring species would recognize. Chlor understood the invitation to communicate. The dome's outer door cycled open with a soft hiss. Chlor glided forward, their crystalline form refracting the sunlight as they emerged. Their translator device hummed to life, processing the complex patterns of human speech it detected. "We welcome you to our research station," Dr. Chen spoke clearly, her tablet already recording the historic interaction. "We've been studying the river's ecosystem for several years. We noticed your interest in the Piranhas." The translator processed her words, converting them into the harmonic frequencies the Centauri used for communication. Chlor's outer membrane rippled with surprise at the direct reference to the morning's shocking event. "Your world," Chlor began, their translated words carrying a note of confusion. "It appears peaceful on the surface, yet beneath." They gestured toward the river, where schools of piranhas continued their deceptively peaceful swimming patterns. Dr. Chen nodded, understanding their confusion. She retrieved a waterproof tablet from her pack and activated a series of high-speed recordings. The screen displayed detailed footage of piranha behavior, their complex social structures, their role in maintaining river health, and their surprisingly selective hunting patterns. "Earth's ecosystems are built on balance," she explained, advancing through the footage. "Predators like piranhas help maintain healthy populations and remove weak or sick individuals. They're part of a complex web of life that's evolved over millions of years." The Centauri researchers gathered around the display, their scientific curiosity overtaking their earlier shock. Marin's sensors detected the precise coordination of the piranhas' hunting strategies, while Tilara analyzed the sophisticated sensory systems that allowed them to detect prey. "But how do your species survive in such conditions?" Chlor asked, their translator conveying genuine puzzlement. "Our scans show human settlements throughout this region." Dr. Chen smiled, switching to a new set of recordings. These showed human researchers safely conducting studies in piranha-inhabited waters, using their understanding of the fish's behavior to work alongside them. "We've learned to understand them. Knowledge turns danger into opportunity. These waters are safe if you know how to read them." The afternoon progressed into a fascinating exchange of scientific perspectives. The humans shared their extensive research data, while the Centauri revealed their observations from other worlds. Each species found their understanding of life expanding through the dialogue. Flora's initial disappointment in discovering Earth wasn't the paradise they imagined, gradually transformed into something deeper, respect for a world that had perfected the art of balance. Their chromatophores shifted to deep blue, indicating profound contemplation. Perhaps, they mused, watching a school of piranhas swim past their sensor array. True paradise isn't about the absence of danger, but about the presence of perfect adaptation. Dr. Chen nodded in agreement, her years of research reinforcing this conclusion. As the sun began to set over the Amazon, casting golden light across the river's surface, both species realized they stood at the beginning of a remarkable scientific collaboration. The Piranhas had not just revealed Earth's true nature. They had built a bridge of understanding between two civilizations, seeking to comprehend the complex beauty of life itself. The sky darkened to an ominous purple as massive storm clouds rolled across the Amazon basin. Inside the Centauri Research Dome, environmental sensors flashed urgent warnings. Chlor moved swiftly between monitoring stations, their chromatophores pulsing with concern as they tracked the approaching weather system. These readings exceed our previous meteorological data, Tyranny reported, their translated voice carrying notes of worry. The atmospheric pressure is dropping at an alarming rate, and the river's behavior patterns are shifting significantly. Dr. Chen and her team had already begun securing their equipment, their movements quick but precise. Years of experience with Amazon storms had taught them the importance of preparation. Through the dome's transparent walls, they could see the river's surface becoming increasingly choppy. "The storm will hit in approximately 20 minutes, she announced, checking her weather radar. "Your research station should be safe, but you'll want to retract any external sensors. The lightning here can be particularly intense." As if to emphasize her point, a brilliant flash illuminated the darkened sky, followed by a rumble that made the dome's crystal structure vibrate. The Centauri researchers watched in fascination as the local wildlife began responding to the approaching storm. Marine scanners detected increased activity beneath the water's surface. "The piranhas are changing their swimming patterns," they observed. "They're moving into deeper water, forming tighter groups." Their instruments recorded the precise choreography of hundreds of fish adapting to the changing conditions. Lightning streaked across the sky again, closer this time. The wind picked up dramatically, bending tree branches and creating white-capped waves on the river's surface. Chlor noticed that their initial landing site, which had seemed perfectly selected, now lay in the path of potential flooding. "We need to adjust the dome's stabilizers," Dr. Chen suggested, pulling up detailed topographical data on her tablet. "The river can rise several meters during severe storms. See how the local structures are all built on elevated ground. We learned that lesson generations ago." The Centauri researchers worked quickly alongside their human counterparts, integrating Earth's weather prediction systems with their own technology. Solera's environmental models began showing more accurate forecasts as they incorporated the local knowledge. Thunder crashed overhead as the storm reached them in full force. Rain fell in sheets, transforming the peaceful river into a churning mass of water and debris. Through their enhanced sensors, the aliens observed something remarkable. Every species in the ecosystem had prepared for this moment. "Fascinating adaptive behaviors," Chlor noted, watching as various creatures found shelter or altered their patterns to match the storm's rhythm. Even the piranhas, they're not just surviving the chaos, they're using it to their advantage. Dr. Chen nodded, pointing to her monitoring screens. "The increased water flow brings new feeding opportunities. They've learned to conserve energy during the storm's peak, while remaining ready to respond to any advantage it presents." The research dome shuddered as another lightning bolt struck nearby. The humans' modifications to the stabilization system proved their worth as the structure automatically adjusted to the changing conditions. Chlor's team watched in amazement as their supposedly fragile paradise demonstrated its resilience. On our world, Tyranny shared, their voice thoughtful, we engineered our environment to eliminate such extremes. We thought we were creating perfection through control. But there's perfection in adaptation too, Dr. Chen responded, gesturing to her readings. Every species here has evolved to not just survive these conditions, but to thrive in them. The storm isn't a disruption to the system, it's part of it. As the storm raged on, the combined research teams continued their observations. The humans shared their deep understanding of local weather patterns, while the Centauri contributed their advanced monitoring technology. Together, they documented how an entire ecosystem moved in concert with the elements. Chlor's chromatophores shifted to a deep purple of revelation. They realized that Earth's true strength lay not in peaceful stability, but in its dynamic ability to adapt and evolve. The storm wasn't destroying their paradise. It was demonstrating why this world was even more remarkable than they had initially believed. Through the rain-streaked walls of the dome, they watched nature's powerful display, understanding that they were witnessing not chaos, but a perfectly orchestrated symphony of survival. The storm had passed, leaving behind a transformed landscape bathed in golden afternoon light. Inside the research dome, Chlor projected a holographic representation of their homeworld, Centaur, its single vast ocean glowing with bioluminescent life. Dr. Chen and her team leaned forward, studying the alien environment with professional interest. Our world evolved toward unity, Chlor explained, their translator conveying the subtle pride in their harmonic speech. One interconnected ocean, one primary ecosystem, perfect stability through complete environmental control. The hologram showed vast networks of crystal structures beneath the waves, regulating every aspect of their ocean's chemistry. Tyranny manipulated the display, highlighting the uniform patterns of their world's aquatic life. We believed we had achieved the ideal. Every species cooperating, no conflict, no unexpected variables. Their chromatophores shifted to a reflective blue as they compared their homeworld to Earth's chaotic vitality. Dr. Chen pulled up her own data displays, showing the complex web of Amazon's river systems. But here's what we've learned about Earth's waterways. She began, zooming in on various ecosystems. Each river, each tributary, even each bend creates unique challenges and opportunities. The piranhas in this section of the Amazon have different behaviors than those just 50 kilometers upstream. Marin, who had been analyzing the post-storm data, joined the discussion. The variety is extraordinary. Our initial scans identified 12 distinct hunting strategies among the local piranha populations alone. Their sensory appendages quivered with excitement as they displayed their findings. The human researchers shared decades of accumulated data, showing how Earth's diverse environments had driven incredible adaptations. Each challenge, from seasonal floods to changing prey patterns, had pushed species to develop new solutions. We once thought like you did, Dr. Chen admitted, pulling up historical environmental projects. Humans tried to control rivers, to make them safer and more predictable. But we learned that the ecosystem's strength lies in its complexity. Chlor moved closer to the displays, their crystalline form refracting the afternoon sunlight. On Centaur, we eliminated predators entirely. We saw them as imperfections in the system. They gestured toward the river, where piranhas were now hunting in the nutrient-rich post-storm waters. We never considered that predation could serve a greater purpose. The research teams worked together, comparing data from both worlds. The humans showed how predator-prey relationships drove evolution, creating ever more sophisticated adaptations. The Centauri shared their understanding of biological systems, helping to reveal patterns that human instruments hadn't detected. Look at this, Tyranny highlighted a particular data set. The storm changed the river's chemistry, but the piranhas adapted within hours. On Centaur, such rapid adaptation would be impossible. Our life forms never developed that capability. Dr. Chen nodded, pulling up comparative statistics. Each challenge survived makes a species stronger. Earth's history is full of mass extinctions and environmental catastrophes, But life always adapts and emerges more resilient. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows through the research dome, Chlor made a remarkable admission. Perhaps our pursuit of perfect harmony had unintended consequences. We protected our species from all hardship, but we may have also limited their potential. The human researchers shared glances, understanding the significance of this insight from their alien colleagues. Earth's seeming imperfections, its predators, its storms, its constant challenges, had created something far more valuable than simple peace. True wisdom, Dr. Chen suggested, might be finding beauty in both tranquility and turbulence. She brought up a final display showing the river's current state. Piranhas hunting with precise coordination, smaller fish adapting their behaviors to survive, each species playing its part in the endless dance of life. Chlor's chromatophores shifted to a deep gold of understanding. They realized that their initial disappointment in discovering Earth wasn't the paradise they imagined, had transformed into something more profound. Respect for a world that had perfected the art of adaptation through diversity. As evening approached, both species continued their exchange of knowledge, each gaining new perspectives on the nature of life itself. The piranhas, still swimming in their elegant formations below the surface, had become more than just fearsome predators in the Centauri's understanding. They were teachers, showing how nature's greatest strength lies not in the absence of challenge, but in the ability to overcome it. The rising sun painted the Amazon in shades of amber as T'Pol, the youngest member of the Centauri research team, prepared for an unprecedented experiment. Dr. Chen helped adjust the specialized protective suit they had modified for the alien researcher's crystalline form. The suit will maintain your natural environment while allowing full sensory input, Dr. Chen explained, checking the seals. This will be the first time anyone from your species has directly studied predator behavior underwater. Chlor supervised the preparation with a mixture of concern and pride, their chromatophores shifting between protective red and encouraging green. Are you certain about this, T'Pol? Our previous understanding of such creatures was limited. T'Pol's outer membrane rippled with determination. If we truly wish to understand Earth's wisdom, we must experience it directly. Their translator conveyed the subtle harmonics of excitement in their voice. Besides, the humans swim with piranhas regularly. The research team had spent days preparing for this moment. Human scientists had installed specialized monitoring equipment along the riverbank, while the Centauri contributed their advanced biosensors to track every aspect of the experiment. Remember, Dr. Chen instructed as they approached the water's edge. Piranhas are intelligent hunters, but they're also predictable if you understand their patterns. Stay close to your guide, maintain steady movements, and trust your instruments. T'Pol entered the water alongside an experienced human researcher. Their protective suit transmitted every sensation. The cool flow of the current, the subtle vibrations of nearby fish movements, the complex dance of light through the water. Below the surface, schools of piranhas moved in their characteristic patterns, their silver scales flashing in the morning light. T'Pol's sensory organs detected the subtle electrical fields generated by the fish, adding a new dimension to their understanding. Remarkable. T'Pol transmitted through their underwater communication system. They're constantly exchanging information through their movements. Each slight adjustment carries meaning. Their scientific training helped them appreciate the complexity they were witnessing. The human guide signaled, drawing T'Pol's attention to a particular school of piranhas. The fish were executing a hunting maneuver, but not for food. They were teaching younger members of their group. The coordination and social structure were far more sophisticated than any previous scan had revealed. From the research station, Chlor and the others monitored every aspect of the dive. Their biochemical responses suggest complex decision-making, Mimran noted, studying the data streams. They're not simply reacting to stimuli. They're analyzing and adapting their strategies in real time. T'Pol moved carefully through the water, guided by both their instruments and their growing understanding of the piranha's behavior. They observed how the fish responded to their presence, not with blind aggression, but with calculated assessment. They're testing our movements, T'Pol reported, their chromatophores pulsing with scientific excitement. Each pass brings them closer, but it's not threatening. It's information gathering. The human guide nodded in agreement, having observed this behavior countless times. As the morning progressed, T'Pol participated in various research protocols. They collected data on hunting patterns, social interactions, and the complex ways Piranhas maintained their territory. Each observation revealed new layers of sophistication in creatures they had once dismissed as simple predators. Near the end of the dive, something extraordinary happened. A small school of Piranhas began mimicking T'Pol's movement patterns, creating a mirror effect that demonstrated their intelligence and adaptability. They're not just surviving, T'Pol transmitted, their voice filled with wonder. They're learning, teaching, adapting, just as we are. Every moment in their environment is an opportunity for growth. As they emerged from the river, T'Pol's chromatophores displayed patterns that their fellow Centauri had never seen before, a complex swirl of colors representing deep understanding and profound respect. Dr. Chen helped remove the protective suit, while T'Pol shared their insights. On our world, we thought we had mastered nature by controlling it. But here, mastery comes through understanding and adaptation. The Piranhas haven't just survived in this river, they've helped shape it. The research teams gathered to analyze the wealth of new data, but the most valuable insights weren't in the measurements or recordings. They were in the shifted perspectives, the breaking down of preconceptions, and the recognition that true knowledge comes not from observation alone, but from immersion in the dance of life itself. The celestial spirit hummed with preparation energy as the Centauri researchers made their final adjustments for departure. The morning mist still clung to the river's surface, creating an ethereal backdrop for this historic moment. Inside the research dome, Clore reviewed their completed findings with Dr. Chen and her team. Our initial report to the Centauri Science Council will require significant revisions, Clore announced, their chromatophores displaying a complex pattern of academic excitement. We came seeking paradise and found something far more valuable, a masterclass in evolutionary excellence. The holographic display showed their comprehensive analysis, thousands of data points collected over their stay, each contributing to a revolutionary understanding of Earth's aquatic ecosystems. The Piranhas, once seen as a shocking disruption to their concept of paradise, now featured prominently in their conclusions. We propose establishing a permanent research facility here, T'Lara explained, bringing up architectural plans that merged Centauri crystal technology with Earth-based environmental considerations. Our species has much to learn about adaptation and resilience. Dr. Chen studied the proposals with professional interest. The location you've chosen is perfect, high enough to avoid seasonal flooding, but close enough to observe multiple ecosystem interactions. She pointed to several spots on the map where their combined research had revealed unique behavior patterns. Mimrin, who had been working with human researchers to develop new scanning technologies, shared their latest innovation. We've adapted our sensors to better understand predator-prey relationships. The applications for both our worlds are extraordinary. The human scientists gathered around as T'Pol presented their personal observations from their underwater studies. The young researcher had developed new theories about environmental adaptation that challenged centuries of Centauri scientific doctrine. We thought we had achieved perfection through control, T'Pol explained, their translator conveying the passion in their harmonics. But Earth has shown us that true perfection lies in the ability to change, to adapt, to overcome challenges rather than avoid them. Clore activated a final display showing their most significant finding, a comparison between Earth's dynamic ecosystems and Centauri's carefully controlled environment. Our world's stability came at a cost we never recognized. By eliminating all threats, we also eliminated the pressures that drive evolution. Dr. Chen nodded in understanding. Every species here, from the smallest fish to the most efficient predator, carries generations of hard-won wisdom in their genes. Even the Piranhas hunting strategies represent millions of years of refined adaptation. The research teams began their farewell procedures, but this ending marked a beginning. Plans were already in motion to establish Earth's first interplanetary biological research center. The facility would serve as a bridge between worlds, allowing scientists from both species to study the complex dance of predator and prey. "We came seeking paradise," Clore reflected, their outer membrane shimmering with newfound wisdom. "But we discovered that true paradise isn't a place of perfect peace. It's a place of perfect balance, where every challenge serves a purpose, and every species plays its part." As the Centauri prepared to board their ship, T'Pol lingered by the river's edge one last time. Below the surface, schools of Piranhas continued their eternal dance, neither good nor evil, simply perfect in their adaptation to their world. The human researchers gathered to bid farewell to their alien colleagues. What had begun with a misunderstanding about the nature of paradise had evolved into something far more valuable, a partnership that would benefit both worlds. "Remember," Dr. Chen said as the Centauri team made their final preparations, "the Piranhas will be here when you return, continuing their role in nature's symphony." Clore's chromatophores shifted to a deep shade of gratitude. "We will return not as seekers of paradise, but as students of life's endless adaptability. Earth has taught us that true perfection lies not in the absence of challenge, but in the strength to meet it." As the celestial spirit rose into the morning sky, its crystal structure refracting the sunlight, both species knew they had witnessed the beginning of a new era of scientific understanding. Below, the Amazon continued its ancient rhythms, its waters holding countless lessons for those willing to look beneath the surface and learn from the dance of life itself.